Hello and welcome to Read Right Now. Well, this week we're doing things slightly differently because while I stay here in Dublin finding out how community groups get online, you'll be seeing how this week's learner did it for herself. Biddy McDonough is a member of Cork's travelling community and very involved with her local groups. We followed her progress as she looked into setting up a website, met with a representative of Mawalya and then collected all the elements needed for the site. Later in the programme, I'll be finding out just who Mawalya are and what they do. But first, let's meet Biddy.
I've got 8 children, 5 girls and 3 boys, from 19 and a half down to 4 years. Well, I went back to literacy classes because I wanted to help the children with their homework, be able, if they asked a question from a book, be able to answer them and help them with it. And for my own self-esteem as well, I went back. I wanted to have a better future for the children, and that was a better future for myself. Oh, look at all the tigers. Oh, look at. If I couldn't read or write, well, I wouldn't be able to help them with a bit of homework. So therefore, to be going into school next morning and they wouldn't have their homework done properly, and like to be getting bad marks for that. So like they're doing well in school, and because they're able to read and write themselves, but because I can read and write as well, and I can help them. Put in your hand. You put your hand out. Well, no, I don't know. Yeah, put it in your mouth. Yeah, the shoe went out. I had a very limited education, and I want the children to have the best education that I can give them, and what to do with that in their own lifetime, it's up to them really, but I can push them now while they're young to get the best education. I only went as far as primary school. I left school when I was 11, and as I was the eldest of the girls at the time, and my mother was, her health wasn't great. Travelling girls from 11 to 12 that her confirmation made, they had no business being in school. So I left school when I had my confirmation. Come on. Come on, Patrick.
No, I won't go on the monkey.
Come, yeah. Come on. Travelling women that time used to have big families, and the girls would be home helping the mothers. Okay, Patrick and Julianne, do you want to write a letter to Santa? Secondary school wasn't even
nice pictures.
in people's minds at that time. My literacy level was very limited when I left school. I really didn't know how to read and write. I would have difficulty in spelling words. I would actually leave out letters at the end, and I thought they would be spelled proper, but there wouldn't. There'd be actually letters left out. I had difficulty with that.
We come across words we know all the time, but sometimes we see words which look familiar but are just a little different. This spelling tip is about a very common word ending, ly, which you often see attached to the ends of words we know. Ly is pronounced lee when it appears at the end of words. So what kinds of words is ly added to? Well, generally, ly is added to words to tell us more about an action. Okay, let's think of a few action words. What about these? Shout, sing, ask. Now we can use words ending in ly to describe a little bit more about these actions. For example, shout loudly, sing softly, and ask politely. As you can see, all these words that tell us more about the actions have ly added to them. The root words don't change when we add ly. However, when we add ly to some root words, we need to change the spelling of that word. What about these words? Happy, angry. Watch what happens when we add ly to them. The y changes to an I before you can add ly. Therefore, these words become happily, angrily. So don't forget to look out for words that end in ly. You should now be able to recognise the root word and the action it's describing.
Well, there's a literacy class in Matton every Thursday morning. There's a group of sisters that go down there on Thursday morning. It's really family literacy.
Paprika.
Anne McKiernan is the group organiser for the Mahon Family Literacy Scheme.
The group that we're working with at the moment is kind of here for the last maybe 3 or 4 years. Any activity that we run here, either be it personal development, childcare, cookery, all has a literacy theme.
2 tablespoons of tomato.
We all get on with one another and there's great banter going on at times. Once this group starts in the morning, we normally might come in and have a cup of tea and chat on how are the children getting on, and there might be something after happening since we met last week, and that's all discussed. And it's a very easy group, but at the same time the women are learning, and that's the main aim, that the women learn.
At Truth Literacy, you're not really down on a book and pencil writing down. At the end of we'll be doing the cooking, at the end of it, we'll be writing up lists of ingredients and that. So it was interesting. Do you make it interesting as well?
We do a lot of reading and writing. We do cooking through reading and writing. We done childcare through reading and writing.
It was actually in this class that we done the childcare, and we worked on it for a good couple of months, and then we had to wait to find out whether we were after passing or not, and we actually passed. I've actually a picture of me, Hall and myself after receiving my award for childcare, and my 6 daughters.
Biddy would be the coordinator as such. She would over all the literacy schemes. Biddy would trot in and out and visit us, and I suppose we'd be on our best behaviour when Biddy comes to visit.
As a coordinator for all the local schemes, Biddy spends a lot of her time travelling from group to group. She decided it would be a good idea to set up a web page that all the groups could access for up-to-date information. She approached one of the tutors, Una Long, to help her get started.
Una, I was thinking about setting up a web page for our local groups.
I've heard of a very good website. It's called Mobhaile. Mobhaile is an Irish word. It's my home, and it's local. It's for local community groups. It's fairly new. It's only after being set up, and I think really like that would be an ideal place to start your web page. And I suppose to write to them would be the best method of contacting them.
Una, would you give me a bit of help and doing it?
If you want to start, I put your own address now right up here in the corner.
This week's writing tip is all about writing formal letters, something all of us have to do from time to time. When we write letters and emails to family and friends, it doesn't matter very much about what the letter looks like or how it's formatted. This type of writing is known as informal writing. However, sometimes we have to write formal letters. For example, when we write letters to a bank, apply for a job, or make a complaint. Let's look at what information is included in a job application letter. In a letter like this, you need to include your address and the address of the person to whom you're writing. Your address goes at the top right of the letter, and the address of the person you're sending the letter to goes just below it on the left-hand side. The date normally goes underneath your address over on the right. And the letter starts with a formal greeting of some kind, like Dear Sir or Madam, or to whom it may concern. If you know the name of the person you're writing to, then use this including their title. For example, Dear Ms. Daly, or Dear Mr. Dwyer. Once you've finished your letter, you need to sign off with a formal phrase, such as yours sincerely. Writing formal letters isn't that difficult. Once you remember the main parts we've listed here, you're more than halfway there. Having received a reply to her letter, Biddy met Mowalia representative Lorna Maxwell in Cork City Hall to discuss what she needed to do next.
Well, what we want the website for is so we can link all our groups here in Cork. We have 8 local groups in local areas in Cork, and we have one group, central group, that's dealing with education in St John's College.
As you can see from here, this would be the group's name going along here. And then on the left-hand side, there's all the different types of things that the website can have on it. Well, maybe before we go into it then too much, I get an idea of what kind of groups you work with.
They're all locally based groups, and would be get women involved in anything from basic cookery through literacy, get them involved in relaxation, aromatherapy, health and fitness for women, to have social outings. And then the St John's College is totally education.
Each course could be identified, the venue, you could put a picture up of the venue and you could have a map of where the course is being run.
Well, we'd want it to be as visual as possible. Lots of pictures. Lots of pictures. You need to keep the language simple and maybe use a voiceover or have a little button that they could hear actually what's being said.
Yeah, we could arrange that there's, if you work out what is wanted.
Biddy and Lorna continue to work on the details of the website. In Dublin, Derek is visiting the local government Computer Services Board to find out a bit more about Mowalia.
I'm joined now by Breach Carter, who's the director of the local government Computer Services Board, and the assistant director, who's Tim Willoughby. Now tell me about Mowalia.
We've been developing now for a little over a year. We have 7 local authorities who are part of our pilot phase of the project, and obviously our hope and expectation is that will actually evolve so that most, if not all, local authorities will have their version of Mowalia over time.
And tell me who it's available to exactly, Tim.
Anybody who's in a community and voluntary group or a sports club, or anybody in a residents association, parish group.
And tell me, as I'm listening to you speaking, I'm wondering just how much computer experience I would need.
Based on your own experience, when you come in the door, we'll take you to where you want to be and what you're comfortable with. Because again, the last thing this project wants to do is make you uncomfortable with the technology.
For other people, Breach, like Biddy, how can they access this service?
The simplest answer to that is that if they live in one of the pilot counties, they just contact their county council and they say, I want to be part of Mowalia.
Great. Well, our free phone number, if you want to get a copy of the Read Right Now workbook, is 1800 20 20 65. That's 1800 20 20 65. You can call it now, the lines are open. It's a free phone number and the workbook is free also. Or if you're feeling particularly interactive as we're discussing this today, you might want to go online and visit our website. It's www.readrightnow.ie. That's www.readrightnow.ie, and you can do some additional exercises online.